All right, what is a good YouTube? It is Defcon TCG, aka Hector. And while I work on editing my Orlando regional vlog, I'm going to be doing this Mega Lucario video. I got my boy Mega Lucario, and this thing's an absolute powerhouse. One of the strongest stage ones we've probably ever seen in the history of Pokemon as far as pure offense goes, right? So Mega Lucario has 340 HP, and it's a stage 1, making it incredibly bulky, but also has two very well-rounded attacks. So Aura Jab is going to do 130 damage for 1 fighting energy, and it's going to allow you to attach 3 basic fighting energy from discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. So this is really good because you can power up things like an additional Mega Lucario or something like a Hariyama. So Hariyama is going to allow you to have the gust effects with the Heave-Ho Catcher ability to be able to bring up one of your opponent's benched Pokemon, and then also boasting a 210 damage attack that's basically free once you get the attack off with Mega Lucario. So that pairs really well with some early game pressure because you can use your Hariyama in combination with your Soul Rock, which is such a popular card in the Goldango deck of last rotation, to be able to do 70 damage for 1 fighting energy. When you pair that with Lunatone, Lunatone's going to allow you to draw 3 cards. So as you can see, you have a very aggressive deck here that's just going to want to run down your opponent as soon as possible. Now they have some new toys to the new set. We have the addition of Meowth with the Last Ditch Catch ability, allowing you to search your deck for a supporter. You can now be a little bit more toolboxy with how you want to play your deck, and you can add a couple of fringe supporters you couldn't play before. So now you're able to have a little bit more utility in your deck. And I also wanted to try the Barbaracle. So Barbaracle is a card from Mega Evolutions, whatever the newest set's called, Perfect Order. And it has the ability Stone Arm. Says once per turn you may attach a basic fighting energy card to one of your fighting Pokemon. So this can be really good at chain Lucario attacks if your opponent's also playing a big beat stick deck. So Barbaracle can act as an extra energy attachment. It can also be used, so if your opponent, let's say, bosses up your Pheasantipity and you don't have a switching card, you can use Barbaracle to attach an energy to one of your fighting Pokemon you want to attack with, and then you can use your normal attachment for turn on to Pheasantipity and be able to retreat it. So it's another way to get one of these fat guys out of the active, because a lot of your guys are kind of thick, right? Makuhita's got 3 retreat, the Hariyama's got 3 retreat, Riolu's got 2 retreat, Barbaracle and Binnacle both have 2 retreats, so you got some hefty boys in this deck. Now, the downfalls of Lucario, tweak the Psychics, or something like the Lily's Clefairy is a big hindrance to this deck. This card is very popular currently, but the nice thing is once you use your Mega Lucario to power up your Hariyama, you can now use your Hariyama to knock out Lily's Clefairy back and kind of get back into a more even prize trade. But the nice thing is that it's going to take your opponent a little bit of work to get to be able to knock out the Mega Lucario, because against that deck you can keep a smaller bench, and then they're going to need to really have like Area Zero and a bunch of bench Pokemon. So going into the trainer cards, this is where I think this list is very interesting. So I have like kind of the standard, just 4 Lily, you have to play 4 of that card in your deck. Oh, let me move my face so you can actually see. Okay, moving myself to the corner up here. So I'm going to be up here in the corner, and I'm going to have 4 Lilies down here. I got 4 Lilies Termination. It's the best supporter in the game by far. And the other draw supporter I'm going to be going with is 3 copies of Judge. So pairing Judge with something like a Makuhita and a Hariyama is very strong because you can gust your opponent while also disrupting them. So in doing so, you can kind of pick one of your opponent's Pokemon that you want to knock them out, disrupt their hand. Because a lot of decks are going to want to go for that early game Lily. They're going to Meowth aggressively, which is also good for this deck because you can, use your Hariyama plus Mega Lucario combo to be able to KO that Pokemon for 1 energy, which is nice. But I'm going with the Max Belt Ace Spec as well for my Ace Spec, just to be able to do more damage. I think that allowing your Lucario to do 320 with the second attack Mega Brave is very nice. It also allows Hariyama to do 260, which can KO some of the random big basic Pokemon that are above that 210 mark. Something like Terapagos that has 220 or 230, and then some of those other guys. It could even be kind of funny if you use it with like a Riolu, so 30 plus 50 is 80, so you can do 160 to Meowth. So if you pair that with Premium Power Pro, you can knock out a Meowth with it. And there's a couple little things you can do here. It'll make Cosmic Beam do a $120, so you could even like double PPP and kill the Meowth as well, because Soul Rock does not do weakness. So again, like I was saying earlier, with the addition of the Meowth, you can play a couple of one-of supporters now. So for mine, I have the Wally's Compassion, which says you can heal all damage from one of your Mega Evolution Pokemon EX. If you healed any damage this way, put all energy attached to the Pokemon into your hand, and that's going to pair really well with the Barbaracle. So basically, once per game, you can get a free heal, and the energy goes back to your hand, so you reattach Barbaracle, and you're able to just do your Mega Brave attack again, potentially. And then I also have the Tarragon. So Tarragon is a revamped version of Tulip. And so Tarragon allows you to put any combination of 4 basic or 4 fighting Pokemon and 4 basic fighting energy cards from discard pile back into your hand. So this is really good because it can fuel the whole combo of Solrock and Lunatone, right? So you can get an energy to attack with Solrock, an energy to discard off Lunatone, and the physical Lunatone, and the physical Solrock. So that's really nice. You can also recover, you know, if you need your Barbaracle or Binnacle back. It's a way to just kind of mass get a bunch of guys back. For consistency cards, I guess the last supporter that also is important is the Petrel. So Petrel's going to be really nice because it can allow us to find some of our one-of-combo pieces, something like Switch, Maximum Belt, Air Balloon, even our One Stadium Watchtower for those pesky Terra decks. It can also help us find like the additional copy of the Premium Power Pro if we're needing to go for a big knockout, or like Night Stretcher to be able to get a guy back from the discard pile to continue a combo from going. So I do like the addition of the one Petrel a lot. The only thing I would maybe like to try to fit is maybe another one of either Wally's or the Petrel, just to kind of have additional copies in the deck, because I think prizing these guys are going to be a little bit rough if we do need them in real game scenarios. Only 2 copies of Boss because we do have the 2 copies of Hariyama, so you're going to get at least 1 Hariyama off per game, so it's basically like you have 3 Bosses order. And then for the energy, we're going with 9 fighting. I know the lists are generally playing 10, but I think you can get away with 9 with Double Stretcher Tarragon. It's probably fine. And then 1 copy of the Rocky Energy. I'm not really sure how fond I am of this card. I feel like every time I draw it, I wish it was just a basic fighting. But it's probably fine. Just have it as a 1-of, so you're a little bit nicer in a Dragapult. You can kind of just save it for the late game to put on one of your basics so that your Dragapult opponent can't take 2 prize cards. So we're just going to get right into it. Right, we are back for game 1. Now with the Lucario deck, you pretty much just want to be as aggro as possible. I think that if you play this deck defensively, you're just not utilizing all of the things that make Lucario broken. So our opponent won the coin flip, they're going to go first, which is fine. A lot of the times, we're just kind of going for a 1-prize board state with the Solrock anyway. That's why I want to include the 3rd copy, just so, 1, you're able to lead it more. And this hand's really good. We get the Lunatone lead, but we also have the Air Balloon to retreat it, and 2 fighting energies in our hand also to be able to attack with that Solrock turn 1. And look at our opponent's hand, they're playing the Rockets Honchkrow deck. Now, this could be a hard matchup just because Honchkrow does have a good chunk of HP, being 130, so we would have to find double PPP in order to KO it because the resistance doesn't matter. But thankfully, I'm pretty sure all of the Pokemon in his deck are either 70 or 80 HP. We get 3 mulligans off the bat, which is pretty nasty. Our opponent, okay, Letaporion only has 60 HP, so at least we'll be able to get a KO on this thing turn 1. Unless all 4 of my Solrocks are prized, which would be pretty bad, but we're going to hope that that is not the case. So we're going to see the Rockets Transceiver. This is going to grab Proton. Proton is a very unique supporter in that it can get 3 Rockets Pokemon out of the deck, but the unique thing is it can do it turn 1. It's one of the only supporters in the game that can do so. I think it's like Proton, Carmine, and it's like Beauty, I think. But nice thing is here, we will be able to get a KO, and I get the Makuhita down as well. That's really nice. The Judge is also going to be very nice here, just to be able to disrupt the hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my Solrock ability for after I use my Judge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Riolu here. I'm going to use the Fighting Gong to be able to grab a copy of Solrock because I already have a Lunatone in play. Bench the Solrock. I'm going to attach Rocky Energy to the Solrock to maximize my outs of finding a Fighting Energy off of my Judge. I'm also going to use another Fighting Gong here. And I think what I want to do I have Barbaracle in the deck? Let's see. Unfortunately, I prize Barbaracle, so my Binnacle is going to be pretty useless here. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grab a second copy of Solrock, just in case my opponent does KO me going forward. I'll have a second Solrock just ready to go. And then I'm going to go for the Judge here to disrupt my opponent's hand. My opponent does have a lot of live draw supporters in their deck, which is not good for me. But, you know, you can always hope to maybe it buys me a turn. Let's go for the Lunar Cycler, draw 3 cards. I get the Pokepad. I'm going to save that in case I need to use the Hariyama to take a KO. But here I have 1 PPP loan plus the Petrel, so I can potentially knock out a Honchkrow next turn. But there we go. I'm going to get the KO here. And one of the bad things about the Rockets deck is that Team Rocket's Ariana is such a strong card, but to really get the maximum effect out of it, you can't bench any other Rockets Pokemon. Otherwise, your draw goes from 8 to 3. So at least there's a pretty good chance you won't see the Pheasantipity from my opponent. I'm just messing with my light here because I'm trying to find out like what's the best lighting. I think I want to get overhead lighting. I just use my lamp that sits on top of my PC and I just kind of move it like every video to see what looks good, but I don't know. I just maybe need to get better lighting, but I don't know. It's a problem for another day. And there we go. We see the big haunch, and we'll see what supporter my opponent's able to back it up with. So there is the Pal Pad to grab another copy of Team Rocket's Honchkrow. And unfortunately, with that 30 resistance, our Aura Jab is actually not going to be able to knock out Honchkrow in one hit. And we see the Archer, so it's a very good supporter here to be able to disrupt my hand. It's going to put me down to 3 cards. But I do get the Petrol off the top, so that'll be nice just to be able to even get like a Lily for the following turn. But I do have Night Stretcher as well to be able to draw 3 cards at least. So maybe I can use... Okay, so my opponent grabs Proton here, which makes me think that they're going to have, yep, energy plus do 2 discards to be able to KO me. But my opponent only has 2 cards in hand after this. Or, well, I guess they'll have 3 because they'll be able to get a prize card here. But they are down 2 copies of the Rockets Transceiver, so maybe I can get a little bit lucky here. Okay, so there's the copy of Fighting Gong. So I'm going to use this to thin my deck a little bit. We're going to use this to draw 3 cards off of Lunatone. If I can get another PPP. Okay, so I actually do get the PPP. So I think here I actually want to use Mega Lucario. Actually, no, I think it might still just be better to attack with Soul Rock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Night Stretcher for a Fighting Energy. Grab that out of the discard. And then attach it to my Soul Rock here. And then I'm going... So let's see. So just make sure I don't do weakness or resistance, which is very nice. So what I can do is I can Petrol here and grab a second copy of the Premium Power Pro. And then retreat. And I'm going to put down the second Riolu just in case my opponent has a Gusting option. And then I'm going to go for PPP. I'm going to go for PPP. And then I'll be able to do 130 damage to the Honchkrow for KO. So yeah, see that 1-up Petrol's putting in work right now. And let's see what I can get off the prize card. Hopefully it's a live draw supporter. We get the Hariyama, which also isn't bad. If I can pair that with like a PPP, I can potentially knock out one of my opponent's Murkrows on the bench. My opponent then there has the energy and another Rockets Transceiver. Ah, that's super unlucky. Okay, so 3-card hand and it's Transceiver energy, bro? Come on. But yeah, my hand is not looking super hot at the moment. My opponent's only going to need 2 energy here to be able to KO me. So that's another Rockets Porygon coming down. But I can potentially... Okay, so I can go Hariyama, bring up a Porygon, and then use Night Stretcher with my Riolu to KO one of these Porygons, which is pretty funny. So, yep, there's the KO onto my Soul Rock. And yeah, I definitely am liking the fact that I have 3 Soul Rocks in my deck right now. Just because you have to go through a lot of them in the early game. Draw Lily. So I draw Ultra Ball, which is pretty good here because I think I want to go Ultra Ball for Meowth for Lily. Well, it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to use the Hariyama anyway. So get rid of these 2. I'm going to go for the... do I want to go for the Pheasantipity to draw 3? Or do I... No, I'll go for the Meowth. I'm just going to commit to drawing the 6 cards. And then, yeah, we'll go for the Meowth. Meowth is going to grab me that copy of Lily's Determination to draw 6 cards. I could also grab Tarragon. That is an option if I look at my discard pile right now. I could just grab 2 Soul Rock, 2 Fighting Energy, which I actually don't hate that. I'm going to grab the Tarragon. And I'm just going to recover all the guys. We're going to grab 2 Soul Rock and 2 Fighting Energy. And then I can bench Soul Rock and go for the Lunar Cycle to be able to draw 3 cards. So boom, 1, 2, 3. I get the PPP and the Lilies for next turn anyway. So here I'm going to go for the Hariyama. Hariyama's going to go for Ho-Heave Catcher. Bring up that copy of Team Rocket's Porygon. And then I'm going to attach to Soul Rock. And then I'm going to get the KO here with my Cosmic Beam. But also here I have PPP Loan plus the Lily's Determination for next turn potentially. So I can always... try to fish for the last PPP Loan out of my deck. And I mean, worst case scenario, I can try to Lily's Determination into a copy of Mega Lucario, which is a little bit risky because my opponent's going to go down to 3 prizes. So maybe I don't want to put the Lucario into play unless I'm going to judge my opponent as well to kind of get rid of some of their hand. But my hope is kind of just that my opponent whiffs an energy for turn. My opponent's going to go for another Ariana here. And they get the evolution here with Team Rocket's Porygon. And then I have my chocolate milk. Oh man, I love chocolate milk, man. So one's gonna have 10 cards in hand, so the chance of them whiffing is gonna be really low here off the energy. And they only have 8 in their deck, which isn't a lot, but you know, it'd be nice if your opponent could whiff every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so there's the Archer. So our opponent's definitely gonna be threatening to disrupt our hand on the following turn. So let's see. There's the Rocket Feather to discard 2 more supporters from the hand. And I'm going to assume my opponent just plays 4 of all the Rocket supporters. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have to discard. Why did they discard 3? I think maybe that was a misplay from the opponent. Let's see. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if they play 4 Archery. If they do, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left. I do get the Mega Lucario here, but I don't know if I want to commit it to play yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bench Soul Rock, and I'm going to go for the Lunar Cycle to see if I can draw the second Premium Power Pro. I draw a Max Belt, which isn't going to really help me here. My opponent plays no big guys in their deck. I think it's pretty unlikely my opponent kills my Lunatone, so I'm going to do is I'm going to Ultra Ball these 2 cards away. And I don't think I'm going to grab anything here. I think I'm just going to fail this. To put Lucario into play or to not put Lucario into play. Let's see, my opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4... 7, 12, 13. So they're doing 260. So it's not out of the realm of possibility they KO me. So I'm going to do is I'm going to evolve into my Lucario here. And I might just have to go for the Aura Jab here, which is not what I really want to go for. But let's see. I do get the extra Fighting Gong, but I did already use my Lunar Cycle ability. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach to Mega Lucario. I'm going to have to attack with it, which definitely does not feel good considering my opponent can just kind of blow me up. But yeah, we're going to go for the Aura Jab, and I'm going to attach 3 energy to my Hariyama here. So yeah, if my opponent's got the one-shot KO, they got the one-shot KO. There's not really a lot I can do about it. Not getting the other PPP loan there means that I had to attack with the Mega Lucario instead of the Soul Rock. But yeah, if I can prevent my opponent from getting a KO here, and then potentially get a Judge for next turn, I can go like Judge, attack with Hariyama, which would be pretty nice. I would just have to attach to the active and retreat it, and then hope my opponent doesn't have a gusting effect for next turn. But my opponent did take a knockout. Oh, okay, so maybe they're going to try to go for a rare candy. Does this deck play rare candy? I feel like it doesn't. I wonder if my opponent DC'd, because I don't really know why they would promote the Porygon. Okay, never mind. Okay, so they have a Pokepad here. So maybe this Pokepad will be... get the Porygon 2. Okay, so they have a triple energy to attack me with Porygon 2. I forgot that the biggest Porygon, that one does more damage, right? Ooh, so they're just going to go for the KO into my Meowth, which is pretty good here. To put me down to 1 prize, which definitely is not good for me because, I mean, I can still wall up with the Lucario, which is pretty good, but I really want to pair this with something like a Judge. So I do have 2 more copies of Judge in the deck. I can potentially get 3 draws off Lunatone and then 3 draws off a potential Pheasantipity, because I actually don't have another Ultra Ball in my deck. Let's see, there's 3 discards off of that. Those are 3 pretty good cards. Let's see, my opponent's got 4, 7... okay. 6, 10, 12, 15. Yikes, that is a lot. That's a lot of guys. Alright, so get the draw for turn here. It's another copy of Riolu. Go for the Lunar Cycle. Looking for a Judge here, or a Fez. Unfortunately, do not get the Judge or the Fez. Let's see, how many did I have left? I had 2 Judge and a Fez left, so that's kind of unfortunate. I'm going to go for the Makuhita here, just in case I have to get another Gusting effect down. And then I'm going to go for Fighting Gong. Fighting Gong, just get another Fighting Energy. I don't know if KOing one of the Porygons really does anything, because my opponent has 2 in play. If they only had 1, I could go for like a potential boss's order onto them. But thing here, I just attached to Mega Lucario, and then I'm gonna just, yeah, I'll just evolve this Lucario as well, and then play Lily's Determination. I'm not feeling great about this next turn. My opponent's probably gonna just be able to KO me. Okay, so I do get the Premium Power Pro, so I can just use the Aura Jab here as well. So it'll save me from having to use my Mega Brave. So I can just KO this, and we'll see if my opponent has the KO. Yeah, the 1 prize decks are definitely going to be a problem for the Mega Lucario deck, especially something like with the Honchkrow, that they have some awkward HP numbers. Again, I don't really see Honchkrow being like that meta relevant, just because it can't be Dragapult at all. Like, Dragapult is just a terrible matchup. Even if you one-shot the first pull, they like unfair stamp you and like blow up your whole board. So it's really rough. But I pretty much expect my opponent to just blow me up right now with I guess there's this thing, there's the Miracle headset. So what does my opponent want to grab here? Probably just the Giovanni for game. Oh, it's actually just the Ariana. So, okay, so they just grab the Giovanni so they have energy and KO one of my little guys here. Bring up the Porygon, and then, yep, just attach a triple energy, and that'll just be KO. Yep. Yeah, I definitely needed the Judge there, which is pretty unfortunate. Wait, what? How did I get a Judge back in my hand? Yeah. So, definitely an awkward matchup. I think if I'm able to attack with the Soul Rock like one more turn, I probably would have been able to dig deep enough to get to the copy of the Judge a little bit later in the game. Maybe I should have used the Pheasantipity there, just so I had the Meowth to an out later in the game. But I wanted to draw some cards there to try to get that second Premium Power Pro. So we'll see how this game goes. We're going to want to go second with this deck. I just want to be able to get the 70 damage as fast as possible with the Soul Rock. And there we go. We get the lead Soul Rock plus energy. And then I also have the Lily to pair with that as well, which is very nice. We can potentially draw 11 cards in our first turn, which is pretty disgusting. We'll see if it's a matchup we want to use the Binnacle in. See what our opponent flips over here. Our opponent's going to flip over their own Soul Rock, which is pretty funny. So, I could see this matchup being a matchup where we want to use the Barbaracle to maybe attach extra energy to our Lucarios to kind of get back-to-back KOs. So, I think I am going to bench the Binnacle. I'll go bench Binnacle, attach energy, and then go for the Lily's Determination. If I can get double PPP plus Lunatone, that'd be insane. But I'm not going to hold my breath. That would be pretty insane. Well, it looks like we hit the Lucario Mirror Match. Opponent's going to go for an Ultra Ball here. Getting rid of a switch and a PPP of their own, which definitely does not feel good considering how insane the PPP is into the Mirror Match. Like, you have to have double PPP. Like, you have to have max ball PPP or, like, double PPP. Or, no, you need triple PPP, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about this. I would have maybe just waited if I was my opponent. Unless they just have, like, no supporter. Like, nothing viable in the hand. I guess this is fine. Just kind of dig. Yep, there's attached to Riolu. And then it'll be my turn. So I'll be able to draw for turn. And it's a copy of Ultra Ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bench Binnacle. I'm going to go for Ultra Ball. I'm going to get rid of Pheasantipity and the Boss's Order. And grab my copy of Lunatone. And bench that bad boy. And then I'll attach a Soul Rock. Slam this Lily's Determination. Refill my big ol' hand. Oh my god, and I got the double PPP loan. That is absolutely diabolical. Unfortunately, I did not get a copy of Riolu here. But with the double PPP loan, I will be able to take the KO and kind of force my opponent to just attack into my Soul Rock, which is fine. That is a little bit unfortunate to not get a Riolu down turn 1, but I do have another copy of Lily's Determination plus a Lunar Cycle available to me next turn. So, let's see. I mean, I still have a good amount of out to basics. I still have 4 Gong, 3 Pad. My opponent goes for the Rock here off of their copy of Pokepad. And let's see if they have a draw supporter to back this up. They attach the Air Balloon to the active and then play the Lily's Determination. So I guess the air balloon is just in case they whiff the Lucario. They will not be able to knock out my Soul Rock. But even having my own Soul Rock to just do 70 damage to Lucario is great math for me to just be able to KO this thing with Mega Brave. And there's the Fighting Gong as well. This is going to allow him to draw 3 cards off of that Lunar Cycle. But they actually just go for the Makuhita, so it's going to be pretty important for me to get down 2 Riolu next turn. There's another copy of Pokepad. This is probably going to get a second copy of Riolu. They actually just go straight for the Hariyama. So they're not even prioritizing the second Lucario. I mean, you know that my Lucario, I can't knock out your Lucario on the following turn. So you can maybe potentially go for the Riolu setup next turn. But if I have like boss PPP and I'm able to just KO your Riolu, it's also, that kind of sucks. So I think this Barbarical will definitely help us into the mirror match. Just be able to get like back-to-back Mega Braves. There's the Aura Jab to be able to attach to the Makuhita here. So they actually just go split them up. All right, that's fine. All right, promote Soul Rock, and we're just gonna spin the dice again. So here I can evolve my Barbarical, and then attach to the active, and then I'm gonna go for. I could go for Lunar Cycle if I draw like PPP something, but I think I just want to draw the most amount of cards possible. I just want to draw 6, then draw 3 more potentially. So I get the Fighting Gong. But I think here I'm just going to have to use the Lunatone because my board is pretty weak. To go for the Lunar Cycle, I'm looking for an out. Man, no out to the Riolu again. And yeah, my hand is just dead. Wow, my hand is just so dead. That's just really unfortunate. No outs to Riolu off 2 Lilies and 2 Lunar Cycles. That's pretty insane, honestly. Let's see. I'm gonna just go for. I'm gonna have to just hold it in case my opponent does not have a. I don't even know. They're just gonna Aura Jab me again, I guess. Oh, this is just not good. I have to hold this in case I draw another out to a fighting Pokemon, so I can grab that 3rd Soul Rock out of the deck. But yeah, this is not looking good. Top like, I don't know, 20 cards, no Riolu. It's kind of crazy. I'm down 30 cards, dog. Okay, so my opponent's gonna go for He-Hove Catcher, which is fine. I think they're just gonna knock out my Barbarical, which is fine. It is pretty unfortunate because I won't be able to set up, but it is nice. I'll just be able to get some more damage in with my Soul Rock. Unfortunately, I'm just getting Aura Jabbed again, so that's pretty unfortunate. Let's see, there's an Ultra Ball. This is maybe for the second Riolu. Let's see, my opponent has 270 left, so I hit him for 70. It'd be 140, so be left at 200. Yeah, I don't think it's ever worth attaching to the... I really don't like the use of He-Hove Catcher there. I'd probably just attack my opponent's Soul Rock. Considering I already have a Soul Rock in the discard pile. Oh, we see the Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. That's pretty cool to include with the copy of Lunatone, just be able to draw the top 3 cards of your deck. Alright, so my opponent's going to get set up for the following turn. There's the Riolu bench. And then there is the Aura Jab for KO. The nice thing here is my opponent does not have another Hariyama to be able to attack with. Alright, draw 3, or draw Fighting Gong, so I'm able to draw 3 here off of my Lunar Cycle. And there we go, we finally get a copy of Riolu down. So I'm going to use my Fighting Gong just to get another copy of Riolu down. We did prize a copy, which is unfortunate. But let's see. I think I am going to... My opponent is down a Switch and an Air Balloon. So part of me just wants to Hariyama up their Hariyama and just hit it for 70. So then that way... Right, if I hit it for 100 here, and then my opponent uses the Wild Press, they actually are going to get KO'd themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this play, and I'm going to attach... yeah, I kind of have to attach here, I think. And then, yeah, I'm going to go for the Cosmic Beam for 100. And we're going to see if my opponent is able to retreat this big guy, Hariyama. So, Let's see if my opponent had the foresight here to have something to be able to retreat this thing. Because I'm hoping, you know, down one switch, down one air balloon. Usually this deck only plays like one of each, potentially a second copy of one. So if my opponent doesn't have that, I'll be able to just 70 back into this and then kind of get back into the prize trade. As long as I don't put down Mega Lucario that my opponent could potentially one-shot, I'll be looking good here. There's a Lunar Cycle from my opponent to draw the other card they stacked off the Cypher Maniacs code breaking. All right, man, get punished here. Please get punished for not stacking the right card. And yeah, the other card they stacked was another Mega Lucario, which makes a lot of sense. Come on, just pass. Just pass. Just pass. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right, we see the Ultra Ball here. This could potentially be for a Meowth. I guess it could be Meowth for Petrol and the switching card, which would be pretty good for my opponent. My hand is very, very weak. So I don't know if I would be able to have... Okay, they just grab another Mega Lucario. Maybe they have like a Carmine or something in their hand. They want to thin out the Mega Lucario. Top decking my own Terragon would be pretty good here. Definitely would not mind. Just to be able to get a bunch of these energy and some Soul Rocks back into my hand. But let's see. I should have maybe held the fighting energy. But because my... What is his name? Because my Barbaracle was KO'd, I just wanted to be able to have the energy attachment ready to go. Part of me also wants to like promote Mega... no, because I don't want to be... Okay, my opponent plays a PPP, which is interesting. Another PPP. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, they play Judge, which is fine with me. My hand is terrible. I want to be able to get a new... Okay, this hand is way better than my last hand. All right, very nice. Get the Lizard... Oh my god, this hand's so good. Okay, so there's a couple options here, right? I do have the option to attack with Mega Lucario potentially into his Mega Lucario. If I Mega Brave this Lucario, I think the game is pretty much over. I do have to maybe take one or two more like prize cards somewhere along the line as well. So let's see. I don't know if I'm going to need any of these guys anymore. I think I just want to use this Night Stretcher to attach a fighting energy to one of my Riolus. So I'm going to attach one here as well. And I don't want to evolve into a Mega Lucario yet, so I'm just going to use a little determination here. I'm going to draw a brand new 6, and I do get the Makuhita, which I do want for the following turn. So let's see. I have 3 energy in this card. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is my 7th energy. I'm going to just use a Lunar Cycle here, draw some more cards out of the deck. I get Switch and Petrol. This is pretty good for the following turn because I can potentially use Petrol to grab another copy of the PPP loan. I am down 3, but I could use it to grab Max Belt as well. I'm going to play this Pokepad. I'm just going to thin out Hariyama out of my deck. And then, yeah, I'm just going to use the Cosmic Beam here for the KO. So, yeah, sticking my opponent's Hariyama in the action for turn was pretty nice. I think if I was my opponent, I don't think there's ever a reason to not attach 2 energy to Hariyama, considering your Soul Rock is only a 1 energy attacker anyway. There's no reason to really need to preemptively attach to it. So... Yeah, I think I'm sitting in an okay position here. If my opponent goes like Boss's Order, kill my Riolu, then it could be a little bit bad. Just because we're just going to be playing as my opponent. Is my opponent able to one-shot my Mega Lucario next turn, which isn't looking great. They're down 3 PPP loans, so they would need like the last PPP plus a Max Belt. But if I can use like my own Judge to be able to KO, that'd be really nice. I'm trying to think of a way that I can take a 1 prize knockout, but I don't think I'll be able to unless my opponent like does something silly and like benches a little guy. If I can take one more 1 prize knockout without my opponent doing anything, or if I can take one more 1 prize knockout, I pretty much guarantee win the game because my opponent has all the multi-prizers in play currently. But I think my play might just be to like, let's see, my opponent's down a Lunatone and a Soul Rock, so it might just be like Gust Lunatone, and then like with the Hariyama, and then, okay, so my opponent's going to judge me first. So we'll see if we get a playable card off of this. It's a little bit scary. Okay, so we get Fighting Max Belt Judge, bro. Jesus. Okay, so there's an energy there for my opponent. I think my best play is still just Gust Lunatone and KO, like Gust Lunatone KO. And so that, or Judge, yeah, Judge Gust Lunatone just still seems like my best play, I think. Yeah, because my opponent's not able to draw. Like, they need max belt PPP, and they have one max belt, one PPP in their deck. So I think I like this line a lot. The hard part here is going to be to draw a copy of Hariyama. That's going to be the difficult part of this following turn. I get a boss's order as well. So I could, like, go evolve Mega Lucario and then boss kill Lunatone, which I don't hate as well. Which I think that's actually going to be my play here. I'm going to boss kill Lunatone here. And then I'll save this energy into my hand. I'm going to just go for the Aura Jab. And then what I'll do is I will put 1 energy here, 2 energy here. And then I'll take a prize. And it's going to be another copy of Riolu. So yeah, so as long... Okay, so my opponent attach an air balloon to this Lucario. So this Lucario cannot have the max belt attached to it. But with 5 cards in hand, you just kind of have to hope your opponent doesn't have it. They're down double Lunatone and a Stretcher. So the chances of them having another Stretcher are pretty low. This deck only plays 2. So my play next turn is, let's see, I think I have 1 PvP left, right? We both use 3. Yeah, we both use 3, so it's going to be a little tight. If I can top deck an Ultra Ball or a Meowth, I can also go Meowth for Petrol for PvP loan, and then the game should be won there. Because I'm pretty sure I have to win the game this turn. The other option I do have is I can Mega Brave this Lucario for guaranteed game if I whiff. So I can judge and potentially bench my 3rd copy of Soul Rock to be able to draw 3 more cards. Okay, so then we see the copy of the Rocky Energy and the Wally's Compassion to heal the bench Mega Lucario. Okay, pretty solid play for my opponent there. Just heal off the damage from the bench Lucario, attack my active, and basically tell me to better have it. Which, I mean, shit, I might not have it. My opponent's also not used a copy of Boss's Order yet. So, considering we're both at 3 prizes, and they go for the Mega Brave. Yeah, if I have my own Wally's Compassion here, I definitely want to use it. That's crazy, bro. That is diabolical. Oh my god, streamer client. Dude, call me Austin Charles. Yeah, I'm just going to Wally's Compassion this bad boy. We're going to reattach to it and just attack again. That's absolutely ridiculous, dude. Yeah, we're just going to Aura Jab again. So, considering my opponent did not have the attack last turn, I'm just going to kind of assume they don't have it again this turn. They also use the Mega Brave, so if they want to attack with the Lucario again, they have to have a switch to be able to switch into this Lucario and then attack again. But yeah, we're kind of in the same spot again, where if I just go Energy Attachment plus my own Makuhita, the Hariyama, then I'm able to just, you know, KO this Lucario back. This is a long game, bro, for a Lucario mirror. This mirror is usually, like, pretty quick, but yeah, you can kind of see the strength of this deck where you can just, like, 1 prize board out the whole time, and then once you actually need to, you just evolve into the big guy, and you just start getting in there. Because, yeah, Mega Lucario, it's pretty beefy, it does a lot of damage. Like, what else could you really ask for from a stage 1 that attacks for 1 energy, attaches for 1 energy? Like, yeah, the card's just incredibly good. Alright, so my opponent's going to be forced here to go for the Aura Jab. I think if I was my opponent, I probably would have gone for Aura Jab last turn with the active as well. Oh, I guess it does I'm gonna affect prevent all effects of attacks. Okay, I was making sure it wasn't abilities. I forget sometimes with the newer energies. But yeah, I mean, I have, let's see, my opponent goes for Judge again. That's fine. We don't need the okay, we get the Fighting Energy and the Night Stretcher, so I can at least draw 3 cards from my deck. The other Hariyama is still in my deck, so I can potentially draw that. So I can go for, like, Fighting Gong for the Soul Rock or another Fighting Energy. So all I need to do is draw the copy of Hariyama off of these 3 cards. I could also draw my other copy of Boss, or my copy of Ultra Ball, or the Meowth, and then the game is... Excuse me, I had a hiccup. Excuse me. Then the game is just over. And this is pretty long for 2 games, so I'm probably just going to cap it off there. Usually if I do videos over 45 minutes, they're... Bro, I'm so good at this game. Let's go for the Meowth. Bro! Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I punched Tower in play. Ah, no, I'm so stupid. Oh, that was so dumb. That was so dumb. Oh no. Oh no. That is not good. That is not good. I might have just thrown. Maybe I just threw. There is a possibility. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna retreat into my other Lucario, and I am gonna just go for the Aura Jab as well onto this Lucario. If my opponent's got the Gust, they got the Gust. Oh, that was so stupid. I have my own stupid Watchtower in play that I put into play. So, alright, let's see. Do you have Boss's Order? They haven't played one yet. So yeah, this is probably just game. Yeah, that was a really silly mistake. But you know what I mean? You live and you learn, right? So yeah, we're gonna get Mega Brave back. Oh, that's such a bad throw. I think this game was definitely pretty easily winnable if I don't have that little flub there. Yeah, we'll just see the Mega Brave back. Oh no, that was so silly. Okay, my opponent's just BMing a little bit. Oh, dude, they judge themselves in a max spell Boss's Order? This guy's really good. Yep, and that's gonna be game. 3 prize are KO'd. Yeah, a little blunder there at the end, but you know, what are you gonna do about it? It's Pokemon. But appreciate you guys watching. I do think this deck is really good. I think Honchkrow is just like a weirdly bad matchup. I don't think you're really gonna hit that deck at real events. And then the mirror is also interesting. I kind of dead drew in the middle of the game, so it allowed my opponent to get that extra KO where I could have attacked with Lucario a turn earlier had I found a Riolu. So just a little bit of unfortunate draws that game. I do really like the idea of the Binnacle, especially for the mirror match. So I definitely want to leave that in there. Maybe I have to rethink the one of Watchtower being the stadium. I could potentially see like another stadium just so we're not hurting ourselves. I guess there's always like Battle Cage, which isn't terrible. I don't know, all the other ones, all these stadiums, right? Just currently the stadiums kind of suck. You just kind of have to play like a stadium so that you have your own bump to the, what is this card called? Where is it? The Jamming Tower. You need your own bump to Jamming Tower. We can put a Festival Lead in our deck. So it heals all of our special conditions. Oh my god. I mean, honestly, Academy of Night might not even be that bad in this deck, to be honest. Just be able to put like a support or something on the top of your deck might not be terrible. I mean, Battle Cage is also an option if we just want like a bump against Dragapult. So maybe like this just comes out for like a copy of Battle Cage. So maybe that's fine as well. So yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.